I really am interested.
August 18th, 2026. Crystal Palace signed 19-year-old American Zavier Gozo. Real Salt Lake call it the biggest sale in the club's history, while reports value the transfer at around $15 million. Wait, but why? Gozo has never played in the Premier League. What's more, he still hasn't made a single appearance for the senior United States national team and didn't even make the squad for the 2026 World Cup on home soil. So why are Palace ready to pay that kind of money for a teenager most European fans have never even heard of? It looks like the club are not buying a finished star. They're buying a trajectory. Over the past year, Gozo has dramatically increased his output, found a completely unexpected position for himself, and turned into a player whose profile fits the current Crystal Palace surprisingly well. And to understand where that $15 million price tag even came from, we need to start with the strangest detail of all. Palace have effectively bought a right back who, until very recently, wasn't a defender at all. The biggest change came before the 2026 season. Real Salt Lake moved away from their usual 4-2-3-1 and switched to a system with 3 center backs. And Gozo, who had spent years developing as an attacking player, was moved to right wing back. But he never really became a defender in the traditional sense. With the ball, Gozo constantly pushed high up the pitch, attacked open space, burst into the box, and finished moves almost like a winger. And the result was impressive. In 2025, he recorded 4 goals and 3 assists in around 1,800 minutes. In 2026, already 6 goals and 5 assists in just 1,417 minutes. So his output per 90 minutes nearly doubled. Wait, there's more. In 16 matches, he took 53 shots and had 90 touches in the opposition box. For a nominal wingback, those are huge numbers. And this didn't come out of nowhere. In his first academy campaign with RSL, Gozo scored 16 goals, and then scored 10 times in 10 matches for the U17s. So basically, Mastroeni just gave a former attacking player a new starting position. Okay, but why were Crystal Palace specifically interested in him? At first glance, it looks like Crystal Palace have simply spotted another talented player from MLS. But the fit here is much more specific. In the summer, Palace appointed Pierre Sage, a coach who also prefers a structure with 3 center backs and active players on the flanks. And most importantly, The Guardian reports that Palace have been tracking Gozo for a long time and see him as a potential future successor to Daniel Munoz on the right. Now the transfer makes a lot more sense, doesn't it? Gozo is already used to starting deeper, receiving the ball with space in front of him and literally driving the attack forward from the flank. He can carry the ball up the pitch, beat an opponent one-on-one, burst into the box, or finish the move himself. And Palace are also buying versatility. At RSL, Gozo was used both as a winger and as a wingback, and against Houston, they even moved him into the number 10 role, and he scored twice. But it's important not to confuse a potential fit with a ready-made solution. Palace have not said that Gozo will replace Munoz tomorrow. And a similar system does not mean the role will be exactly the same. Still, it is becoming clear why Palace were the first club to notice him. One question remains. Why pay around $15 million right now if Gozo is only 19? Because Gozo is developing too quickly for Palace to calmly wait another season. Back in 2025, he was ranked 10th in the MLS 22 under-22 list. Then he went to the U20 World Cup, where against France, he came on in the 62nd minute, scored in the 85th, and 3 minutes later provided an assist. The USA won 3-0. And in 2026, everything accelerated even more. Gozo became the youngest MLS All-Star in Real Salt Lake history, and by the time of the transfer, he was leading the team in direct goal contributions. And just a few months before the move, he had gone through a serious disappointment. Imagine this. He did not make the United States squad for the World Cup on home soil. Gozo himself said, "It just gave me so much more motivation." And less than 3 months later, he signs a 5-year contract with a Premier League club. So Palace, it seems, decided not to wait until his price went even higher. They are buying a 19-year-old player who seems to produce a new piece of evidence of his progress every few months. But there is a problem. Developing quickly in MLS is not the same thing as being ready for the Premier League. This is where the optimism stops, because Palace still do not have the main piece of evidence: Gozo playing matches in England. As of today, he has not played a single minute in the Premier League and has not made a single official appearance for Crystal Palace. What's more, he still has not made his debut for the senior United States national team, and his explosive MLS season is only 16 matches. There are questions about the numbers too. Gozo's 6 goals came from roughly 4 XG, so expecting him to keep finishing at the same rate all the time would be too bold. But the biggest unknown is defending. In 2026, he won only 44% of his duels and 35% of his aerial duels, while opponents dribbled past him 32 times. That does not prove Gozo is a bad defender, but it is a reminder: Palace are buying a much more proven attacking wingback than a ready-made Premier League defender. On top of that, RSL specifically built a system that allowed him to keep pushing forward while 3 center backs protected the space behind him. In England, he will have less time to make decisions, the opponents will be quicker, and every mistake will cost more. So, America's next Premier League star? Maybe. But right now, Palace have paid $15 million mainly for the player Gozo could become. What do you think? Is that risk worth it? So why are Crystal Palace ready to pay around $15 million for 19-year-old Zavier Gozo? Because the club are not buying a finished star. They are buying a very unusual combination of age, position, and speed of development. In just 1 year, Gozo has gone from a promising attacking player in MLS to a wingback who scores and creates chances almost like a winger. His output is nearly doubled, he became the youngest All-Star in RSL history, and he gained experience at the U20 World Cup. And most importantly, Palace already see a specific role for him. Gozo could eventually become Daniel Munoz's successor, while his versatility also allows him to play much higher up the pitch. So the gamble makes sense. But is it justified? Not yet. Gozo still has to prove that his speed, dribbling, and attacking freedom can survive the jump from MLS to the Premier League, and that his defensive weaknesses will not become too big a problem. So, America's next Premier League star? Too early to say. But if Palace really have found his ideal role before everyone else, then in a couple of years, that $15 million could look very different.